What's up everybody, it's Matt from Peter Glenn, and in this video we're going to show you just a few of our favorite all mountain boards for the 23-24 season. Let's check these out. So first up, we've got the Never Summer Proto Ultra. That's exactly what this thing is. It is the Ultra version of their Proto synthesis board. This thing will ride anywhere from park to powder and everywhere in between, but it's definitely for those more aggressive riders. This thing is definitely a little bit stiffer, snappier, and livelier than the standard Proto synthesis. The other thing with this thing is that it actually has their triple camber. So this thing still is rocker dominant where the tips are lifted up. So you still get that nice catch-free floaty feel of a traditional rocker dominant board, but in addition to the two camber sections in the nose and the tail, adding stability, pop, edge hold, they actually did a light pocket of camber in between your feet too, so it's actually adding a little bit more stiffness, a little bit snappier, livelier feel in and out of your turns, and a ton of edge hold. So it is for that all mountain rider who does like to ride fast and hard. If you are riding park on this thing too, you're probably not hitting the little jumps and the little rails. You're probably going after those big 80, 90 foot booters, and you're hitting some of those super big features in the park. All right, and then next up we have a legacy board from Arbor. We have the Element. And this thing is really one of the best selling all mountain go anywhere, do anything boards. And not just because it is a true one board park to powder ride anything ride, it actually bridges a lot of gaps within the skill levels as well. It comes in a rocker and it also comes in cambered versions with the uprise fenders. So no matter what, you're getting kind of that catch-free feel. But with everything that's inside this board, the core, the mixed glassing, the hand-dyed ash top sheet, you're basically getting a board that really can work for a beginner who's maybe somebody that catches on to things really fast, and you're not gonna want something that you're gonna outgrow really fast. Obviously right into those intermediate riders, but with the hand-dyed ash top sheet and that mixed glassing, you really are getting a lot of spring, a lot of pop, a lot of push in and out of your turns, and a lot of stability. So no matter whether you have the rockered or the cambered version, even your advanced rider is actually not gonna bat an eyelash at this thing. And on top of all of that, we are doing a sintered base, which is pretty cool at this price point. You're basically getting a board that's gonna be very fast. It's gonna hold an edge. It's gonna have a lot of spring, a lot of pop, but it's gonna have a nice, easy, smooth feel as well. All right, and then next up we have still one of the most popular boards on the market, the Lib Tech Orca. And if you're not familiar with this board, don't let the shape fool you. Obviously this thing is very directional. It's got a slight swallow tail to it, got a really short, abrupt kick in the tail, and we've got that really long nose in the front. And those are basically all features that actually are from a powder board, but this is an all mountain go anywhere do anything board. If you actually look at this thing from contact point to contact point, when you're riding on flat snow, it feels just like a standard snowboard. But obviously when we get into some deep snow, that kick in the tail, that shorter, narrower shape, that's gonna sink down in the snow. And then up in the nose, by elongating that nose and making the kick very long and very dramatic, it actually makes the nose wanna get up. So this thing is gonna rule in the powder, but again, on that flat snow, it's gonna feel just like a regular board. And even if you wanna jump into the park every once in a while, this thing is not gonna feel that weird. It does have a volume shift of about 3 to 6 centimeters, so you are going to buy it 3 to 6 centimeters shorter than what you're usually riding. For instance, if you're used to riding a 156, you're actually gonna get this board in a 150. On the inside, they're doing a mixed glass with some basalt alloy, so you're basically getting a board that's gonna have lots of spring, lots of pop, all the benefits of a biaxial and the benefits of a triaxial, and then getting that extra stability and power from that basalt alloy. And then the shape of this thing is a rocker in the middle to camber in the tips. Very rad because you're getting super good float. You're getting a very catch-free feel, but then having that camber in the nose and tail gives you all the power that you need to lean back on this thing, and it's actually giving you a ton of stability too. If you're a little heavy on the front or heavy on the back, the board's not gonna wanna wash out on you. That camber is really gonna hold you. And then they're doing a sintered base, and they're actually doing sintered sidewalls. They're doing P-Tech sidewalls on this thing, so it makes it incredibly durable, and also it keeps the flex very consistent no matter what the temperatures are. And another rad thing to note about the Orca is that it does actually come in unisex sizing now, all the way down to a 138. All right, and then last up, one of my favorite all mountain boards, the Ride Warpig. This thing really set off a lot of different boards in the market for those volume shift, shorter, wider, stiffer boards. Basically boards where you're actually going to downsize from your standard board. This thing actually has a volume shift of 6 to 10 centimeters. So you can literally downsize 6 to 10 centimeters shorter than whatever your standard size is. For instance, if you usually ride a 158, you could actually downsize all the way down to the 148 in this thing, and it's gonna feel like you have a 158 underneath your feet. And another big thing about this thing is don't let this shape fool you. It has that shorter, squattier tail, and it actually has that longer, kind of almost pointier nose. But the big thing about this is if you actually look at the stance, it actually says centered. And the reason it says centered is because the stance is actually not centered up on the board itself from tip to tail, but it's centered up on the side cut. So when you're riding this thing on flat snow, it actually feels like a twin tip board. But the cool thing is when you get into that deeper snow, it's actually gonna want to sit the tail down and lift the nose up and give you even more float, which actually makes it an incredibly versatile board. And then partnering that with their mixed glassing, their slim wall, and their carbon array, which is carbon strips underneath your feet. Basically got 3 strips going this way and this way. That's actually adding stability, spring, pop, and it's actually adding a lot of float to the board as well. So again, don't let the shape fool you on this thing. This will ride park to powder and everywhere in between. All right, so obviously that's just a few of our favorite all mountain boards. If we did all of them, the video would probably be 20 minutes long. But if you got any questions about these or any of the all mountain boards that we have at peterglenn.com, definitely leave some comments down below. We're on there every single day trying to answer your questions. We wanna make sure we can get you into some rad gear, but most importantly, we wanna make sure that it's actually gonna fit you and it's gonna fit your specific riding style. Also make sure to like, subscribe, and definitely get that notification bell in too so you can find out when all the new videos drop. And grab yourself a new all mountain board from peterglenn.com and get out and ride, because any day riding is a good day riding.